Check out that, family. Look at that. Look at that. Check that out. Check out that, family. Look at that. Look at that. Check that out.
As mystery over the UFOs continues to be a talking point in America, a retired American admiral has now stirred a hornet's nest with his fresh claims on aliens. In an interview with the media portal, Tim Gallaudet, who served 32 years in American Navy, claimed that aliens do exist. He said, and I'm quoting him here, "We are being visited and surveilled by a higher order of intelligence, one we do not understand." According to him, the phenomena was seen in air as well as water, maintaining that humans are not alone in this universe. He stressed that Americans have the right to know about this new reality. In the past, he has also testified before the US Congress regarding these claims. Now remember, US President Donald Trump announced that his administration would release as much information as possible on UFOs in the near future.
We're going to be releasing a lot of things from that we have, and I think some of it's going to be very interesting to people. I've interviewed people, my first term primarily, but I interviewed some pilots, very solid people, and they said they saw things that you wouldn't believe. So you're going to be reading about it.
In the last few months, speculation has been rising about those linked to UFO research and those seeking disclosure on aliens. For instance, the sudden death of UFO investigator David Wilcock, allegedly by suicide, sparked a controversy last week. Serving as a director of Stevati Aerospace firm, Wilcock was a major figure in the disclosure movement, which believes that the US government must reveal secret information which it allegedly holds about UFOs and life beyond Earth. And this is not all. American agencies, including the FBI, Department of War, and NASA, have all intensified their probe over the disappearance and the death of 11 American scientists allegedly linked to UFO research. Speculation is that they were targeted by America's enemies owing to their nature of work.
What's up out there, YouTube? It's James coming back at you with another informative video. I hope all is well with you guys out there on this beautiful Sunday evening. All is pretty good over here. Well, look, we are in the age of disclosure, okay? And that's basically what this all boils down to. First video I played was an experience that me and my wife was fortunate to get on video, you know, where we actually saw this unidentified flying object back in 2021, somewhere around in July or August, somewhere around that time span. You know, we noticed that this light, my wife, she first one that saw it, weird looking light up in the air, just hovering. And I looked up and she told me, got my attention about it, you know, and put the camera on it. You see what I'm saying? And time we did that, that's when the thing just started taking off real fast. You know what I'm saying? You guys saw it for yourself. You know, no AI trickery or nothing like that. You know, that was at the corner of here in Fort Wayne of Rudisill and South Anthony. Okay, heading eastward. And so, look, what we just watched on Gravitas. You know, after seeing what I saw, there's no doubt that it's so-called aliens among us. Now, Trump has released these UFO files now, and we're going to cover that in a couple minutes as far as the video go. And it just shows all kinds of little different little strange little things that some people believe that is fake or reverse engineering of some ships that, well, alien ship like types that went down, back in Roswell, Mexico, somewhere around the late 50s, early 60s. Okay. Some people believe that, but hey, whatever it is, I can guarantee you this stuff right here is real. Okay. Another video I want us to cover too, not that long, Perry Stone. And Perry Stone, I guess, is a pastor, you know what I mean? And he's watching a lot of the end time prophecies take place. And he says he was contacted about a secret meeting that they were supposed to have gone to, for pastors to warn their congregations about what's coming and that they ain't ready. Okay? Now, far as this picture right here go, okay, look, it's no doubt that these so-called aliens, which are actually just demons in the flesh, has already been here, and they're capable of disguising themselves. You see what I mean? If you guys, care to, go and look up the show V. It started in 1985. You want to see the reboot, which is 2009 to 2011, I think. Okay? Especially episode 5. Talks about a vaccine called R6 that these aliens were injecting people with to track them. Okay? Compare that to 2020. All right? With a major event that took place all over this world. All right? That should tell you something right there, people. For those of you that know, then you know. Okay? All of this so-called alien stuff ain't nothing but 1 John chapter 2, verse 18. Okay? That's all it is. The rise of the Antichrist. And what strikes me, how can I say, leery about, curious, whatever, is we heard all of this stuff about Three-Eye Atlas. And they claim that Three-Eye Atlas actually left our stratosphere, our atmosphere, whatever you want to call it. But it wasn't long after that, all of a sudden, we started hearing about these UFO files. Okay? And they're heavily talking about disclosure of alien life forms here on this planet. They've been here. You remember the Most High kicked Satan out of heaven, and he drew a third of the angels with him, and they are underground, and they are known as reptilians. You see, reptilians, they have the power to shapeshift. They do all of that, and that's what this all boils down to. Now, some of them musty, dusty ass camps, when you talk like this or whatever, first thing they want to label you as a bug out. But ain't no bugging out. This is the truth. Them, especially GMS, talking about it ain't no hell and reincarnation. They reincarnated prophets. Can't prove none of that. Most I said prove all things. You see what I'm saying? And that Satan never got kicked out of heaven. They say all these things, but they don't consider that being bugged out. And it says in Revelations 12:7 that Satan was kicked out of heaven. Okay? So see, this is the deal with all this reptilian stuff right here. You see what I'm saying? And they are here and they have been here. It ain't finna be long, as we can see with the government. Basically now, coming with this disclosure situation with the UFO, that they are gonna basically introduce themselves. Okay? But they're gonna come pretending like they coming to help and peace this and peace that. What the Mashiach said about that, when they speak peace, peace, be careful, be on alert, because that's when destruction is coming. You cannot trust these things right here. Watch the show V. It is a blueprint, okay, to what is coming. This was done back in 2009, and then 2020 came, then R6, vaccination R6, that's what it was called on V, became what is it? RNMA vaccine technology. I might have the letters wrong, but nevertheless, that's what R6 in the show became for everybody in the world to take. MOTB, and that's just all there is to it, folks. All right. Now, without further ado, let's check out some of the videos, talking about, the disclosure files and what have you. Then let's listen to Perry Stone for a minute. Then we're going to get back to the commentary. I got some things I want you guys to see. I want you guys to understand these things have been among us. So let's check that out, and then we'll get back to the commentary.
We turn now to that big new release of UFO documents tonight. President Trump telling the public to have fun deciding for itself what's going on. Among the sightings, an object over Kazakhstan doing corkscrews, something else over the Aegean Sea making 90-degree turns, and NASA's Buzz Aldrin in an Apollo 11 debrief reporting a sizable mystery object close to the moon. Here's CBS correspondent Carter Evans.
These images had been hidden from the public for years, until today when the Pentagon declassified dozens of videos showing unidentified objects tracked by the U.S. military. This one from 2013 looks like a giant 8-pointed star, seemingly floating in the air with no explanation.
Do you see any smoking gun there?
I don't see a smoking gun.
Stanford professor Gary Nolan has previously helped the U.S. government analyze UFO evidence.
How should people look at this information?
I think with first a skeptical eye, what could explain it? I mean, it's not a balloon. It's not a seagull. Maybe it's a lens flare. Then what's left on the table, as spectacular as it might be, becomes a higher probability.
There's even newly released evidence of sightings from space during NASA's Apollo missions and audio transmissions from Gemini 7 in 1965 with a description from astronaut Jim Lovell.
The brilliant body of the sun against the black background, and with billions of particles around it. Sun is ahead of us, two lines slowly doubling.
The cache of more than 160 files follows President Trump's earlier directive for transparency, after decades of apparent sightings have fueled a wide range of conspiracy theories, from government cover-ups to aliens.
Do you believe alien life exists and has visited our planet?
I believe that the evidence suggests that there's something more to be looked at and shouldn't be ignored.
In this era of transparency, as the Trump administration says, do you think we are going to see more conclusive evidence?
Whether it's more conclusive, I don't know, but we're going to see more evidence. We have not seen everything that is there. I can say that with certainty.
Today, the administration confirmed that this is just the beginning and that new material will be released every few weeks as it's declassified.
I want you to give me your attention for the next few moments of something that came to my attention very, very recently. I had a friend that sent me a text message. I was in a meeting, a weekend meeting, preaching Friday, Saturday, and Sunday morning. And he said, Perry, can you give me a call? I have some information that has come to my attention. Of course, when a friend of yours does that you know quite well, you have no idea what information they're talking about. And I'm not going to go into great detail, but there were a large number of pastors that had been invited to go to a certain state to hear some men in the United States government and others share with them a concern that they had. And this particular man, and I'll not name him, and then we may end up doing some teachings with him or having an event at his church. He has a great church. But he said, Perry, what they're about to release, from what we're hearing, there's going to be a release concerning aliens and concerning unidentified flying object spacecraft, that some of the people who were in the meeting were telling us as pastors, you need to prepare your people and you need to get ready to answer them for what you're about to hear being released. And some of it has to do with crafts that have been discovered that are not allegedly a part of our planet, and the materials they're made of are not a part of our planet. Very strange reptilian looking creatures, and other things that almost sound like something out of a sci-fi movie or an Orson Welles book. And so here's what he was sharing with me. We discussed a little bit, what are these things that are appearing? Steven Spielberg is about to do a movie, and he's basing it on some of what I've been told, the information that he's come across, that he's had research presented to him. So it's like a sci-fi movie, but it's not a sci-fi movie. Now
this movie in question that Steven Spielberg is actually, producing or whatever, is called Disclosure Day right here. And you guys might want to check out the trailer, you see. And look, here's the deal. The devil he's allotted to tell so much truth before it happens. He's got to give off warnings before whatever evil thing they do actually takes place, come into fruition. And that's just all there is to it. The Most High, that's the way he has it set up, and the devil can't go over that. So they tell you what it is. Just like I said about the blueprint to his whole entire situation, in the show V. Y'all got to check that out. This is real right here. So, like Perry Stone just said, some people are skeptical, thinking that a lot of this, alien, declassification, disclosure, or whatever you want to call it, is all fake to cover up for the Epstein files. But I guarantee you it's not. We already know how grimy Trump is, you know what I'm saying, and Epstein and all that kind of stuff. We already can basically, fill in between the lines about what went down with that. Okay? This is so much more serious, and I wouldn't say it if it had nothing to do with the Most High's word of these things actually coming. So if you ain't in the know, you better get into it. Okay? Now, let's get into some pictures right here. I want to show you guys some things that was coming. Okay? These things has been here already, portraying themselves as regular human beings. And I do believe this one right here, I took this picture right here off of TV with Biden here. You see what I'm talking about? I happen to look in Biden's eyes, and I seen, it might be a little dark, these slits in his eyes. Okay? There were slits. Okay? He was on Nightline, one of those shows right there, and he was talking, and I saw that, you know what I mean? Those are reptilian looking eyes right there. Okay? The same thing here with Senator Lindsey Graham. Okay? You see, human beings don't have slits for pupils. Okay? So they've been here pretending to be something that they're not. Okay? And they got a lot of people fooled into believing that they're actually human, and they're not. They're not human. You see, they've been playing these little games, and they finna come out with who they actually are. Okay? These people were on TV, they were on the news when I took these pictures. Okay? This is real right here. Here's a show. I think I've seen this show on Canon. This old detective movie with, what was it? Was it Robert Conrad? One of the Conrads. He was a heavy guy named Cannon. It's either Cannon or Mannix or Barnaby Jones. I think it was Cannon though. I was watching the show, and as you can see down here, Me TV, that's what it was on the show. And I saw this man's eyes right here. This was not a horror movie. Now, if this was a horror movie, okay, fine. This was a detective movie. And I say, why does this man right here has slits for pupils? You see what I'm saying? He has slits for pupils, just like reptiles. So see, this thing, they've been here among us, posing to be something that they are not. However way they do it. This is all true right here, people. Who is this? Peru. Okay. I don't know if these are actually pictures of real, snake-like or reptilian people or whatever. Like over here, aliens. It really could be. Very well could be. I don't know. They like to hide in plain sight. But it's a statue over in Peru of this monstrous gator man, because that's what it is, like an alligator man, over there. Now, for every image that's ever been created, there's some truth behind that image. You see what I'm saying? Any statue you've ever seen, men just don't come up off the top of their heads with this kind of detail. See, it starts all with what is said in the book of Enoch with the Nephilim, with the fallen angels, and what their offspring went and did, mingling their seed among the fowls of the air, beasts of the field, fish of the sea, and every creepy and crawleth things. Okay, the beast, all of that kind of stuff. And this is I'll call him a gator man, but he's reptilian. Okay, it's not going to be long, people, before we start actually seeing monstrous things like this. They're gonna come out, and this disclosure stuff, this is what this is all about, to get you ready for it. But they come in as friends, and then all of a sudden they're gonna start speaking against the Most High, talking against him and everything else, and they're gonna want you to worship him and bow down to him and everything else. That's up to you if you want to do it. Many people are going to do it because they already have their mark. They already have their mark. And I'm not talking about no chip either. They already have their mark. So it ain't going to be... If you notice the increase in crime and the evil brutality and ruthlessness of it, all of the things that's taking place with the kind of crime people are doing. Gruesome, heinous crimes. You see what I'm saying? Only a monster could do. They have that DNA now in their, in their own DNA. And this is the reason why they're able to do these things. Don't bother them at all. Okay. Now, let me say, in Friday's Bible study, Bible scriptures, I was telling y'all about Country Wayne skits. I couldn't find that picture, but I found it. And this is one of the characters right here. She was out there talking to her sister. But I noticed back here on the garage, you can see these spears right back here, just right there looking at them, just lingering on. You see that? Amazing. This is why I always, in my videos would say, people, make sure you live your life as though we're being watched. Okay? Simply because we are. That's what it's all about. So it's up to you guys to believe what you will, but I would suggest you do your due diligence. And if you haven't, repent, because what's coming is just like Perry Stone said. They told him to tell his congregation, whatever. We're not ready for this. The only way you can be ready for this right here is to repent and get into the good graces of the Most High Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, and that's what it is. We are going to start seeing stuff like this, and they're going to try to make it seem like it's normal, but it's already been among us. And they always say that the eyes are the mirror to the soul. And so a reptilian soul is evil. So therefore his eyes have slits like a snake, a lizard. You see what I'm talking about? His soul is cold and evil. And that's what it is, people. That's all I got on this one, people. I want you guys to tell me what you think about this. That's if you can really comment, because some people don't even want, behind the scenes, like they don't want this channel to thrive. They don't want it to grow, simply because it's, I give off truth, and the devil hates truth, and that's just what it is. So a lot of times that's the reason why when y'all comment, they erase your comments. Your comments be respectable. They erase your comments. That's what it is. YouTube doing little stuff like that. But I guarantee you that the ones that's behind the scenes doing that, they ain't got for so long. The Most High gonna deal with them, because that's how the Most High do. He gonna deal with them. I know that for a fact. It is what it is. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe, people. Please remember to live your life as though we're being watched, simply because we are. This is James, and I'm out. Peace.